Hi fellas.
Seán, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Listen, congratulations on that win. Can you just tell me a little bit about the dressing room immediately after it? Obviously, a lot of young, inexperienced team probably weren't expected to do, had performed exceptionally well. What was the atmosphere like immediately after that in the dressing room?
No, we were obviously delighted, I think, and all the young lads were as well. Just to get over the line, I think playing not up to standard and so many errors in the game that we created ourselves. So it's good to get a win on the back of all that, and I think lots of learnings for them that they'll take away into this week, and hopefully not make the same mistakes. So very very happy changing room. Obviously, pulling it out of fire at the very end.
Who impressed you by standing up? I know there was a handful of sprinkling of more experienced lads, but of the younger crop, who really impressed you?
I think they all did. To be fair, not an easy place to go. To South Africa, the travel, altitude, everything, the heat, and to play well, So I think obviously Sam done well, pulling the strings at 10. Big game for him as well. So he done really well. But I thought the bench were fantastic when they came on. All the bench lads they added a lot of energy and gave us what we really needed.
And just on Sam, we've obviously been exposed to him a lot from the under-20s and saw what he was capable of. Leinster are spoiled with out-halves. Is there a plan, not just particularly for Sam, but maybe for all of the guys there who won't be getting regular game time just because of the competition? Is there any thoughts about some players going to another club alone for a year? Imagine going to Pro D2 for 12 months and getting 20 games under your belt, and how you would come back to Leinster a better player, a more rounded player. Is it something that you could see for Sam or any of the other out-halves there?
Honestly, no. I don't think it is. I think the development of a player like him or others in that situation, where are they going to develop the best? And for our sake and for the Irish setup sake, it's probably in his home province where he's going to get really good coaching. He's going to get minded and looked after well. You put any young fella into, as you say, Pro D2 or wherever you're going. It could be anywhere. And they're kind of thrown in the deep end and not managed properly, maybe, or mightn't have the standard of coaching. So there's a lot of elements to it. So where is the best place for him to develop and to have a very long career? Not just in the short term, but long term. We want Sam playing here in Leinster for the next 10-15 years, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I take that. It's more the numbers game, just the numbers adding up, because you want Kieran Frawley to develop, you want Harry Byrne to develop. You would imagine that Ross Byrne as number 2 in the Ireland setup will take that and is number 1 in the Leinster setup. It's just about the numbers game and how that has worked out, because if you're coaching lads on the standard is great, but out-halves in particular need games. Yeah,
well, I think you look at Ross and you look at Frawls and Harry and these boys, they're going to be involved in the international setup, hopefully. So you look at the schedule we have ahead of us. So you have a World Cup year, you have the management of them coming back into the squad whenever that is. So there's going to be opportunities for younger out-halves, younger players to get lots of game time and get that exposure. And that's the great thing about this tour. It gives them that exposure and that experience and lets us kind of get our hands on them a little bit more as well as coaches.
So talk to me about the Bulls. They obviously had a great win, a huge win at the weekend. How much homework have you done on them so far, and how dangerous will they be?
Oh yeah, look at I suppose we've done a lot of homework on them. We know all too well about what happened last season and how they play and their strengths. Obviously, set piece team, very big and physical, want to play on top of you. So we've spoke about that already this week, and how we implement our plan on them. So, obviously they're a quality outfit, and tough to play against. So it'll be a great test for the younger guys and lads who get an opportunity this weekend.
Thanks, Seán.
Cheers.
Justin Tracy, you're on the call. Do you want to take the next question?
Yeah, if I can. Seán, how are you?
Hi, Justin.
Obviously very well done at the weekend. Was there a sense that that game at one point was getting away from you. What was the feeling in the coach's box?
It's always tough. I don't think we felt that it was completely gone. But with a team like the Lions, you're away from home. Everything's against you. In the way the game went as such, we were making a lot of errors after error, compounding them. But again, that second half, it really gave us a bit of energy and taking that 3 points like the boys did and getting us back within 2 scores was a big moment. And I kind of knew then that we were back in it, and the way the subs made that impact that I spoke about earlier, was vital to getting a win and bringing that energy and getting on top of them a little bit and turning the tide. So I think when we're in this environment and we trust the players to pull it out of fire at that stage even. And I know there's a lot of younger lads there, but yeah, at times during the game you're thinking, this could get away from us. But I think that when we seen little glimpses in that second half, I felt confident that we'd pull it back.
Going to Pretoria is never an easy place to go to and do anything. You've been there with the Lions. It's just one of these, I suppose, situations where you find yourselves that you can now go the regular season unbeaten. Has that entered the conversation, Seán, at all? How special would that be for this group of players?
It hasn't, to be honest, Justin. It hasn't entered the conversation because, once you take, I suppose you look too far ahead in this game, especially with the quality of opposition we play against this weekend. You have to take it game by game. It's that simple. I know it's said all the time, but that is the reality of it. Yeah, would it be great to go unbeaten? Of course it would, but we're coming up against a quality Bulls team this weekend. We have we're going to have a young team out, which will hopefully perform. But you never know in these cases. But hopefully when we get to the game, we can put in a performance to be proud of and look at some of these lads and give them more exposure, to what's needed at this level.
Good stuff. I'll go well at the weekend, Seán.
Cheers,
much
Justin.
appreciated.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Jan Kunning, Rugby 365. A bit of what you said earlier. I mean, obviously, you guys did very well against the Lions. There's another game at altitude, and you guys had really had a good look at the Bulls. What specifically about them do you think it could be your threat? I mean, you guys would be used to the altitude a bit on Saturday, but the Bulls obviously play a different game to what the Lions play.
Yeah, correct. And I think the big threat is how big and physical they are, and they play on top of teams. We've seen last week in that Zebra game, they just couldn't deal with not winning the gain line in their defence. And when you don't do that against a quality side like the Bulls, they play on top of you a lot. And big human beings running over the top of people, it's pretty simple. There's space is going to come somewhere. And then obviously as well with their back three and the pace that they have in the team, you can't kick loosely to them or not have good kick chase either. So there's plenty of threats and plenty of ways that the Bulls can score. They showed that last weekend. So we're going to really have to honour our game defensively first and foremost, and hopefully when we have the ball, then we can play our type of game.
There is this suggestion that if you can be physical enough against a South African team, if you can match them physically, they don't offer much else. Would that be the case again, or is there something else? You mentioned about the back three.
Yeah, I don't think it's not that they can offer, or like that they've no plan B. If you match them physically, they're still a very big threat in the air. They're very, very, very good athletes, very quick athletes. So they can come at you in many ways. But obviously, set piece and their physicality is a big part of what they believe in and their DNA. So. There's a lot of things to think about, but for us I think this week it's just about managing what we can do really well and do our basics really well, and make sure we don't, I suppose, give them a comfortable ride, and we get up and make it uncomfortable for them hopefully. But again, like a big team, big physical team with lots of really good players in it, that can hurt you and that can punish you. So we'll have to be on it.
Hi Seán, just wondering there, in terms of Leinster winning in South Africa and Munster also winning down there, do you think that Irish teams are getting more used to playing down there and adapting?
Oh, I definitely think so. Yeah, I think if you look at the last few years since we start coming over here, logistically even it's a lot better than it was at the start. I think the whole setup has adapted to that. So coming away from home, it's obviously good weather for starters. So there's a feel good factor about it as well. It's just about putting in good performances. You don't want to come over here just to soak up some sun or be over here to take part in it. But I definitely think Munster had a great win the weekend. We pulled it out of the bag at the end. Irish teams are going well, and I suppose definitely getting more used to being over here in these environments as well, and playing at altitude in our case last weekend. So it's something that's a great experience for us all. So it's been good.
Yeah, okay, and just wondering, are you looking forward to Jack Niedenauer arriving in next year into Leinster, and what are your thoughts on what he can bring?
Yeah, it's very exciting to have a coach of his calibre coming in. From myself personally, it'd be great learning defensively on what he brings. That's he's a defence guru, so it'd be very interesting to sit down and chat to him about some of that stuff, and that's probably where I kind of see myself going at some stage as a coach. So very exciting. We've never had kind of that South African influence either within the environment, so it's great to have someone new and fresh ideas, and with his experience as well at that level. He's been brilliant for the Springboks, and he obviously knows the Irish system as well with being in Munster.
Yeah, finally for me, just this week, obviously, the game against the Bulls, you finish up your URC series of programs, and obviously our series of games, it's important probably to win that one as well, to keep the winning sequence, and then a big step up again next week. Yeah,
massive. Obviously, we need to keep a bit of momentum going. That's the challenge now for the boys this week. To put in a good performance, and when we rock home on Sunday, that the lads know that we have our tails up, and that there's a competitive group coming back. To the lads who are still there now at the minute. So that's always the case. Keep pushing each other, keep driving each other, keep the standards high. So it's hugely exciting this weekend, first and foremost for the lads who get the opportunity, and then secondly, what lies ahead for us. But one job at a time now at the minute. So that's all we're focusing on is this weekend.